Firstly, Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad.
Impelite! 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 Sistite!
Haec finis mundi natura. Egredimur festinamus ad castra per terram delemus et effugimus.
Militais instruit arma!
And this also has been one of the dark places of the earth. Imagine the Romans going up this river, at the very end of the world. A sea the colour of lead, a sky the colour of smoke. They're lost in a wilderness with death skulking in the air, in the water, in the bush. They must have been dying like flies here, the soldiers from Latium. But they were men enough to face the darkness, for here was utter savagery closing around them.
But that was 2,000 years ago, Marlow. Surely you're not comparing London with Africa.
No, they were conquerors, and for that you just need brute force. It was aggravated murder on a grand scale. What saves us is efficiency. And at the back of it is an idea, and a belief in that idea. Something you can set up, bow down before, offer a sacrifice to.
The wind has dropped. We'll have to sit it out here until the turn of the tide.
Stood up there, you look like a fine pilot.
I'm no sailor. Marlow's your man.
And I did a turn as a freshwater sailor for a bit.
Anyone for a game of dominoes while we wait?
I'm happy to watch the sunset over the offing and hear one of Marlow's yarns.
I don't want to bother you much with what happened to me personally. But to understand the effect it had on me, you ought to hear how I got out there. How I went up that river to that place where I first met the poor chap. In a way, it changed me. I had just returned here after a regular dose of the East. I had had my fill of the Indian Ocean and the China Seas, and although it was fine loafing about with you gentlemen, I began to hanker for a ship. I wanted command of another boat, some steam tramp in a distant port. Now, when I was a boy, I had a passion for maps. At that time, there were many blank spaces on the earth, and when I saw one, I would put my finger on it and say, when I grow up, I will go there. Some of them I have now been to, but there was one yet, the biggest, the most blank, so to speak, that I still had a hankering for. True, it was no longer a blank space. It had got filled in with rivers and lakes and names. And in being filled in, had become a place of darkness. There was in it one river especially, a mighty big river, that you could see on the map, resembling an immense snake, uncoiled with its head in the sea, its body at rest, curving over a great country, and its tail lost in the depths of the continent. Walking along Fleet Street one morning, I saw a map of the river hanging in the window of a shop. Then I remembered that there was a big concern, a company for trade on the river, based on the continent. Dash it all, I thought to myself. But they can't trade without using some kind of craft on that river. Why shouldn't I get charge of one of their steamboats? As I walked up to St. Paul's, I couldn't shake off the idea. The snake had charmed me.
Dear Charles, it'll be delightful. Of course I'll help you, and I'm ready to do anything for you. As it happens, I do know the wife of a very high personage in the company, who is a man who has a lot...
I got my appointment with the company, and I got it very quick. They had received news that a captain of one of their riverboats had been killed in a scuffle with natives. This was my chance. It made me more anxious than ever to go. His death was the reason I found myself on my way to an appointment in a continental city that always makes me think of a whited sepulchre. I had no problem finding the company's offices. It was the biggest thing in town, and everybody I met was full of it. They were going to run an overseas empire and make no end of coin by trade. I entered the quiet edifice, and by turns found myself with a white-haired secretary ushering me into the sanctuary of the great man himself.
Ah, Mr. Marlow. Thank you. You are bound for Africa, I understand.
That is my wish, sir. We looked in silence at the map on his wall. Africa. There, dead in the centre, was the river. Fascinating. Deadly. Like a snake.
You must see our doctor. Well, I hope your French is up to the job. Bon voyage.
And with that, I was escorted out of the room by the white-haired secretary. He told me in hushed tones that I was not only an employee of the company, but an emissary. Me, a twopenny-halfpenny steamboat captain, some kind of lower-echelon apostle sent out there to convert the starving millions. I felt like an imposter. But it also felt ominous, like I had been let into some dreadful conspiracy. The doctor's examination didn't dispel my forebodings.
Good. Your pulse is good for there. And there.
Africa is like a magnet.
Good. Good.
Have you been there for the company?
Good. No. I am not such a fool as I look, quoth Plato to his disciples. Now, Mr. Marlow, can I crave an indulgence?
Oh, possibly.
I would very much appreciate being allowed to measure your skull.
Whatever you see fit, Doctor.
25 centimeters. Good. 16. Very good. I always ask leave, in the interests of science, to measure the crania of those going out there.
And when they come back?
Oh, I never see them. 12. That is extraordinary. Moreover, the changes take place on the inside, you know. 18. Fascinating. Mr. Marlow, has there ever been any madness in your family?
Is that in the interest of science, too?
It would be interesting to watch the mental changes of individuals on the spot out there.
Are you a quack, sir?
No, sir. But my position here and my researches are my little share in the advantages my country shall reap from the possession of such a magnificent dependency. The mere wealth I leave to others. Oh, pardon my questions, but you are the first Englishman coming under my observation.
Well, I am hardly a typical Englishman. If I were, I would not be talking like this with you.
Well, I advise you to avoid irritation more than exposure to the sun, monsieur. Adieu. How do you English say, eh? Goodbye.
The odd thing is that I, who used to clear out for any part of the world at 24 hours' notice with less thought than most men give to crossing a street, had a moment of hesitation. For a second or two in that tiny room with this unshaven little man wearing a threadbare doctor's coat, I felt as though, instead of going to the centre of a continent, I was about to set off for the centre of the earth.
Goodbye, Doctor. In the tropics, one must keep everything calm. Du calme. Du calme. Adieu, monsieur.
Watching the coast of Africa slip by. The edge of a colossal jungle, so dark green as to be almost black, fringed with white surf, ran straight like a ruled line, far, far away into a blue infinity. The sun was fierce. The land seemed to glisten and drip with steam. It was featureless, empty, monotonous. Only occasionally was this state of death in life broken.
Look over there, Marlow. Where? Horizon. See, anchored offshore.
Good God, she's firing.
It's a man of war. French. Look how low she is at water. She's got like a beast. You all look.
What the deuce is she firing at? I can't see anything but jungle. She's shelling the trees.
Look at the size of those guns.
As we approached her, we could see there wasn't even a shed there where the ship was shelling the jungle. In the empty immensity of earth, sky and water, there she was, incomprehensible, firing into a continent. There was a touch of insanity in the proceeding. We anchored next to her as she swung lazily up and down in the oily swell off the coast.
Welcome to the plague ship! Come aboard if you dare!
Only 3 dead since sunrise!
So, we're getting our own back in this god-forsaken place!
Having delivered letters to the man of war, we carried on. No one seemed perturbed by that vessel of madness. For another month we travelled south, called at places with farcical names, where the merry dance of death and trade went on, day by day, in a heat like an oven. An air of vague and oppressive wonder shrouded me. I felt like a weary pilgrim amongst hints for nightmares. And then we cast anchor off the mouth of the river itself, and I transferred to a little seagoing steamer that took me to the company's downriver station.
Ah, Europe, eh?
Yes.
I wonder what our lords and masters back there would make of this place.
All it is to them is a muddy pit. Best left unvisited is my guess.
Get out of the way, man, you scabby fool! Yeah!
Shooting's too good for these natives. Now, what would happen to those who pay us if they dared to venture up country?
I think I'm about to find out.
My advice is to take care. About a month ago, I took a man like you upriver. Swedish. Hanged himself on a tree stump after a week here.
Hanged himself? Why, in God's name?
Oh, who knows? Maybe the sun was too much for him. Or the country, perhaps. Lasted a week. You stick to the river, man. The river will see you home. See there?
The captain pointed to a collection of huts in a bay below a rocky cliff. There were mounds of turned-up earth, houses clustered untidily on a hill amidst a wasteland of excavations. A mass of people, mostly black and naked, moved around in this scene of devastation like ants.
There's the company station. I'll have your things sent up. 4 trunks, did you say?
5 trunks. You know there are 5 trunks.
Oh, stay calm, man. Stay calm. 5 trunks it is. Adieu.
I disembarked and climbed up from the rusting jetty on a narrow track past a derelict boiler wallowing in the grass, past a railway truck lying there on its back with its wheels in the air, one missing. It looked as dead as the carcass of some animal. The heat and the sun were overpowering, so I stepped off the path into the shade afforded by a clump of trees on the edge of the jungle. A puff of smoke rose out of the cliff. No change appeared on the face of the rock. Like firing the naval guns into the jungle, it was the same ominous, futile voice. 6 half-naked black men went past me, erect and walking slowly up, balancing baskets full of earth on their heads. They were connected to each other by a heavy chair. They passed within 6 inches without a glance, with that complete, death-like indifference of the wretched.
Wait! Semana! Hey! Do you wewe? Nafanya nini Nkweni? Adia kampuni?
I work for the Kampuni.
Nani kwa mendia? Sijawahi kukuona?
I'm new here. I just arrived off the boat from Europe. I'd rather you didn't point that gun at me.
Well, you cannot be too sure, Bwana. No one can be too sure here. Undokini. Nini mbwa. Wanyala!
I have witnessed before the devil of violence and the devil of greed and the devil of hot desire, but by all the stars they were strong, lusty, red-eyed devils that swayed and drove men. But as I stood on this hillside, I was becoming acquainted with the flabby, pretending, weak-eyed devil of a rapacious and pitiless folly. For a moment I stood appalled in the inferno of this grove. I became aware of the noise of a huge waterfall cutting through the mournful stillness in the shade. Not a breath stirred. Not a leaf moved in the heat. And yet the noise of water falling came as a mysterious sound, as though the tearing pace of the launched earth had suddenly become audible. Someone beside me moved.
Get off me! Get off me! Mutu anayepoteza uhai. Bwana.
Right by my hand, I saw a face, the sunken eyes looking at me, enormous and vacant. A kind of blind white flicker in the depths of the orbs which died out suddenly.
This is a biscuit, ship's biscuit. That's all I have.
As I handed him the paltry morsel, I became aware of another man beside him, and then another, and another. Black shapes crouched, lay, sat between the trees, leaning against the trunks, clinging to the earth in all the attitudes of pain, abandonment, and despair. Another mine on the cliff went off, and the earth beneath my feet shuddered. The work was going on. The work. And this was the place where some of the labourers had withdrawn to die.
My good man, welcome to the station. You must be Marlow.
Oh, pleased to meet you. You must be...
Just off the boat, are you? Pleasant voyage? I'm out of the office getting a breath of fresh air. Frightfully stuffy indoors. No luggage, then?
I left it on the jetty. They said they would look after it.
I wouldn't let anything out of my sight here, my good man. Anyway, come in and make yourself at home.
Thank you.
You've got a bed for the night.
He was wearing a high-starched collar, white cuffs, a jacket, a necktie, and varnished boots. He was amazing to behold. Although he'd had all the appearance of a hairdresser's dummy, In the great demoralization of this land, he kept up appearances. That is backbone for you.
My humble abode. Do sit down. I'm afraid I need to get back to work. I run the accounts for the company. We're in a frightful mess just now. Problems up country. With a Mr. Kurtz.
What a strange painting. On the wall, an oil painting, a sketch of a woman by torchlight, dominated the room.
It's dark, isn't it?
Why is she blindfolded and yet carrying that lighted taper? It's very sinister.
It arrested me when I first saw it. So I asked him if I could buy it from him when I took over this hut.
Who?
Mr. Kurtz. He painted it. This was his room before he went upriver last year.
Who, pray, is this Mr. Kurtz?
The chief of the inner station.
And you are the accountant at the coastal station, everybody knows that, but who is he?
First-class agent and a remarkable man. Sends in as much ivory as all the others put together. But we haven't had anything from him for a while, and the company are getting twitchy, so I hear. When you do see Kurtz...
Will I meet him?
Well, from what I hear, you are here to take a boat upriver to fetch him back.
I see.
When you do see Kurtz, tell him from me that everything here is very satisfactory. I don't like to write to him. With messengers like ours, you never know who at Central Station might get hold of what you say.
I left that infernal station the next morning in a caravan of 60 men on a 200-mile tramp to the company's main African station. And then we were over the brow of the hill and into another land. We followed a network of paths spreading over the empty grassland, ablaze with the heat. Nobody. Not a hut. The population had cleared out a long time ago. Day after day we marched, with a stamp and shuffle of 60 pairs of feet behind me. Camp, cook, sleep, strike camp, march. Now and then we passed a carrier who had died in harness, lying by the path in the oppressive silence. One night, I heard the tremor of far-off drums, sinking, swelling, vast and faint. After 15 days, we hobbled into the company's central station. The place was on a backwater of the great river, surrounded by scrub and forest, with a pretty border of smelly mud on one side and a crazy fence of rushes on the other 3. A first glance at the place was enough to let you see the flabby devil was running that show too. An excitable man with huge black moustaches took me to see the manager.
It's all right. We'll get it right in no time. It went down the day before yesterday, but everyone has behaved splendidly. Splendidly. The manager watched it happen, and he said we would get her back in no time. All is above board and quite correct. He said it was not badly damaged, and he would soon get it away and upstream. But he said you should see him as soon as you arrived.
Sunk.
Sunk. We had to get moving upstream. The situation up there is very grave, and I couldn't wait for you any longer. Just had to start without you. We have to relieve the upriver stations. I don't know what on earth is happening up there. People are dying, you understand, being killed.
But what happened?
The steamer sunk 2 days ago. I was on board, you know. Hamu volunteered to skipper her, and he ripped out the bottom, not 3 hours above here.
How?
You had better find her and get it repaired. Hamu is a fool. He gets sick. No one out here should get sick.
My first interview with the manager was curious. I'd just done a 20-mile walk in the heat, and he didn't even ask me to sit down. He was commonplace in complexion, feature and manners. He was obeyed, but inspired neither love nor respect. He had no genius for organizing or initiative or order even. He'd worked here for the company for years, and I learned that he got the job of manager because he was never ill. And because he gave nothing away. Because there was nothing inside him. Nothing to give away.
We are hearing that upriver things are not as they should be. We're getting reports that our chief agent up there, Mr. Kurtz, is ill.
Mr. Kurtz?
You've heard tell of him?
From the accountant in the coastal station.
Ah, so they talk of him down there. He is our best agent, an exceptional man. The company cannot do without him. It's a grave situation. God knows what is going on up there.
And you want me upriver in a wrecked steamer as soon as it's possible?
Ivory. We need ivory. How long will it take you to get to Kurtz?
How should I know? Some fool has wrecked my boat.
Well, how long?
Well, I haven't seen the wreck yet. Months.
Months? We need the ivory, Marlow. Without ivory, we are sunk. You've taken forever to get here, and now you're telling me it'll take months? Confound it, man!
If you're lucky, from 3 months. And I flung out of his clay hut in a fury. I went to work on salvaging the wreck the next day, turning my back on the station. It was the only way to stay sane.
In the tropics, one must keep everything calm. Adieu, monsieur.
The boat had a 3-foot gash in her, and we needed to fit a plate across the hole. She rang under my feet like an empty Huntley and Palmer biscuit tin being kicked along a gutter. For weeks and weeks I waited for rivets until the very mention of the word made my blood boil. Nothing happened in that god-awful station, and no one ever seemed to do a day's work. What did it all mean? This station? What were they waiting for? Those confounded agents strolling about like a lot of faithless pilgrims bewitched inside a rotting fence, talking of ivory. The word rang in the air, was whispered, was sighed. You would think they were praying to it. All they wanted was to get appointed to a trading post where ivory was to be had so that they could earn percentages. They intrigued and slandered and hated each other only on that account. But as to lifting a finger, oh no. And outside, the silent wilderness surrounding this cleared speck on the earth struck me as something great and invincible, like evil or truth, waiting patiently for the passing away of this fantastic invasion. And when the wretched rivets arrived from the grove of death by sea, I would get her afloat and up the river and out of here. But instead of rivets, there came a devoted band on donkeys, calling itself the El Dorado Exploring Expedition. They were sworn to secrecy, but seemed to me to be no more than a band of greedy buccaneers. I got the sense that their aim in life was to tear treasure out of the bowels of the earth. Who was paying them, I don't know. But the obese uncle of our manager was their leader, a man who resembled a butcher in a poor neighbourhood.
I am as harmless as a little child, but I don't like to be dictated to. Am I the manager, or am I not? They ordered me to send him there. I did, and now look how they're blaming me. It's incredible.
Aye, I know. And he asked the company to be posted up here, so as he could show off to everybody as to how it could be done, is what I've heard. He's got too much influence back home.
He led me by the nose.
Never mind. The climate up here will do your work for you. Is he alone up there?
Yes. He sent his assistant downriver with a note saying, "Clear this poor devil out of the country and don't bother sending me more of that sort." That was a year ago. Oh, what impudence. Doesn't he know who I am?
Anything since then?
Ivory. Yeah? Lots of it. The best. He sends the best ivory. Well, he's a brilliant trader.
How does he get the stuff down here?
Fleets of canoes with some scoundrel English half-caste clerk of his in charge. We heard that he had intended to come down himself. But apparently after 300 miles he simply turned round and went back by himself in a small dugout with 4 natives.
He's mad.
Yes, I fear so.
I was overhearing this obviously private conversation as I lay on my boat deck in the midday heat. They certainly didn't realize that I was eavesdropping. What struck me was that for the first time I got a picture of the man they were describing. It had to be Kurtz they were talking about in such hushed tones. The dugout, 4 paddling savages, the lone white man turning his back suddenly on his headquarters, on relief, on thoughts of home, and then setting his face towards the depths of the wilderness.
The scoundrel half-caste told us that he was very ill, and that he had recovered imperfectly, whatever that means. I sent him packing. Anyway, since then we've heard nothing but rumours. Strange rumours.
What's happened to trade?
Who knows? Some pestilential trader there has been snapping up ivory from the natives.
Get him hanged.
Aye. Why not? Dutch or Russian, I hear. Scoundrel. Anything goes in this God-forsaken country. It's not so much the trade. The danger is in Europe. Our masters. That's why I want to go up country with this Marlow chap. It's always delays. Look at his bloody boat. It's a wreck. No one ever seems to work on it.
They're all shirkers.
I really don't trust him. Full of talk. When he was here, he used to lecture me. Each station should be like a beacon on the road towards better things. A centre for trade, of course, but a centre for instructing, improving, humanising. Humanising? What an ass. Humanising here? No wonder he's gone mad.
I assumed it was Kurtz he was talking about, not me. A few days later, my rivets arrived, and the El Dorado exploring expedition departed into the patient wilderness. It closed upon it as the sea closes over a diver. Long afterwards the news came that all the donkeys were dead. I know nothing of the fate of the less valuable animals. They, no doubt, like the rest of us, found what they deserved out there. I did not inquire. I was too busy repairing the steamboat, too excited at the prospect of meeting Kurtz. Going up that river was like travelling back to the earliest beginnings of the world, when vegetation rioted on the earth, and the big trees were kings. An empty stream, great silence, an impenetrable forest. The air was warm, thick, heavy, sluggish, and there was no joy in the brilliance of the sunshine. On silvery sandbanks, hippos and alligators sunned themselves side by side. The long stretches of the waterway ran on, deserted into the gloom of overshadowed distances. You lost your way on that river as you would in a desert, and butted all day long against shoals, trying to find the channel, until you felt yourself bewitched and cut off forever from everything you had known once, somewhere far away, in another existence, perhaps. I don't pretend to say that the steamboat floated all the time. More than once she had to wade for a bit, with 20 cannibals splashing around and pushing. They were our crew. Fine fellows, cannibals, in their place. And after all, they didn't eat one another to my face. They'd brought along a provision of hippo meat, which quickly went rotten. I can smell it now. I had the manager on board and 3 of his pilgrims. Sometimes we came upon a station close by the bank. Settlements clinging to the skirts of the unknown. And the white men who would rush out of their tumble-down hovels with great gestures of joy and surprise and welcome, they had the appearance of men being held there by a captive spell. The word ivory would ring in the air for a while, and then on we went again into the silence, along empty reaches, round the still bends, past millions and millions of trees. massive, running up high, and at their foot, hugging the bank against the stream, crept the little begrimed steamboat, like a sluggish beetle crawling on the floor of a lofty portico. Made you feel very small. And so we penetrated deeper and deeper into the heart of darkness. What are they trying to do to us?
Frighten us.
The way they're dancing. Are they possessed?
I think they're trying to welcome us.
Curse us more like they're trying to drive us away.
God almighty. Are they mad?
No, not them. It's not them who are mad.
That's why we're here. To tame this wilderness.
No, he's right. It's not men who are mad. Aren't they men just like us?
Don't be ridiculous.
Well, what have we got that they haven't got?
Well, look at them. They're savages.
Strip off your clothes, take away your weapons and your money in this boat. How different would we be out here?
Come on, Marlow. Do they believe in God and freedom and justice? We've got principles.
Principles? Out here, I don't see any principles. I see a gun, maybe.
Missouri!
Now, one.
Listen, you fool. The boiler's angry. The evil spirit is trying to get you. You've got to beat it, Missouri.
Mola guapo, buona.
Missouri, see that gauge? Eh? That glass there.
Dio, buona.
It's empty, look.
Dio, buona.
When the water's gone from that glass, the evil spirit in the boiler gets angry. You don't feed the boiler, the glass gets empty, and the evil spirit of the boiler will escape and get you. Understand, Missouri?
Hello, buona.
Missouri, my fireman, had filed teeth, a piece of polished bone as big as a watch stuck flatways through his lower lip, and 3 ornamental scars on each cheek. I had made him enthralled to the witchcraft of the boiler. He sweated and fired up that evil spirit constantly. He watched the glass fearfully, and all the while the wooded banks slipped past us as we crept on through the interminable miles of silence towards Mr. Kurtz. There's a sign here.
Maybe a trap.
Look, they must have left in a hurry. There's a fire laid.
And there's a flag still raised.
What flag is it? It's just tatters.
Wood for you, hurry up. Approach cautiously. I can't read the signature.
It's not Kurtz. The name is too long. I don't recognize it.
Hurry up, approach cautiously. But where? Up the river?
Well, we haven't exactly been cautious, old chap.
Something's wrong, and I guess it's upriver.
What's the point in writing something if no one can understand you? Imbecile.
But who?
Very nice to leave us a stack of wood. I can only see about 1,000,000 trees from here.
Look in here.
They haven't been long gone, is my guess.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like they left in a hurry. Whatever was here has been dismantled, taken away.
Apart from a table and an old book.
An inquiry into some points of seamanship. I'll tell you toast.
Who would need that 600 miles upriver? The ones you left behind.
Yeah, but it's well read. How soft that paper is. And he's taken care to look after it. See, the binding's been restitched.
The breaking strain of the ship's chain can be calculated with reference to the pull of the tide.
The charts are way out of date.
That must have kept him entertained of a dark evening. Come on, Marlow, let's get out of here. It's creepy.
Boring the book may have been, but in that instant I was back at sea. It made me forget the jungle and the pilgrims and this fetid hut, like waking up from a dream. There was a delicious sensation of having come across something unmistakably real. There's notes scrawled all over it. Good God, they're in cipher. Why lug a book like this into here of all places and make notes in cipher?
Marlow, let's get out
Please,
of here.
let's move, Marlow.
Because night was falling, caution was the word, and I brought up the boat in the middle of the stream. The reach was narrow and straight with high sides, like a railway cutting. The dusk came gliding into it long before the sun had set. The current ran smooth and swift, but a dumb immobility sat on the banks. The living trees, lashed together by creepers, might have been changed into stone. It was not sleep, more like a state of trance, or death. When the warm sun rose, there was a white fog, warm, clammy, more blinding than the night. It was like something solid. Anxious to get moving, I gave the order to raise our anchor.
Heave! Heave! Heave!
God help us. We'll all be butchered in this fog.
Linatoka wapi?
Hold the chain in short. We need to be ready to move at once, if needs be.
I looked out into the fog. How long would it last? Getting to this Kurtz, grubbing for ivory in the wretched bush, was beset by as many dangers as though he'd been an enchanted princess sleeping in a fabulous castle.
Will they attack?
I don't think so. The fog is as dangerous to them as it is to us. But it wasn't the fog that made me think that they wouldn't attack. It was that cry. Unexpected, wild, violent it may have been, but to my ears I had heard sorrow. The glimpse of the steamboat had for some reason filled those savages with unrestrained grief. At noon the fog lifted. Then we were not safe. We got moving at once, continuing slowly upstream against the sluggish river. It was a mile below Kurtz station. We floundered round a bend, and there the river divided. I decided on the left channel. I knew in my bones this was the right way, but as we progressed, the banks got steeper and the river narrower. I regretted my choice.
Keep sounding the water. Mighty shallow. The Sona, steer her gently. We hit that bank and we're a goner. I'm going forward to supervise the sounding.
Yes, Buana.
And Sona had been my poor predecessor's helmsman. He was very tall, sported huge brass earrings, and wore an enormous blue wrap. He thought the world of himself, and would steer with no end of swagger when I stood by him. But the moment he lost sight of you, he became prey to abject funk.
Now keep that pole upright, don't let it lift. We have to get through this snag. What in God's name are you doing, man? Sorry. We can't tell how shallow it is if you... Attack! We can't attack! Over there! Sona, keep her steady. Stop dancing your phone! Get this thing shut! Sona, keep her steady. Stand still! Here! No, right there! Stop it, you imbecile! Now we're heading for the like that!
As we lurched within feet of the bank, I saw a face among the leaves, level with my own. He looked at me with a fierce, steady glare, and then it was as if a veil had been lifted.
Keep quiet, Sonia, we'll get hit now. The Soda, steer! Keep that shutter closed and... Are you mad? Put that rifle down and steer! Oh, out of the way, you imbecile! Bloody well steer! No! You're steering right into the... I've got to get in the deep water or we're done for! Oh, shut up, man!
The rifle went overboard, and the man stepped back swiftly, looked at me over his shoulder in an extraordinary, profound, familiar way, and fell at my feet. The side of his head hit the wheel twice, and the end of what appeared to be a long cane clattered onto the deck. It looked as though, after wrenching that thing from someone on the bank, he had lost his balance in the effort. I concentrated on steering us out of the shallow. In another 100 yards, we would be free to sheer off from the riverbank, but my feet were so very wet and warm that I had to look down. He had rolled on his back and was staring straight up at me. Both his hands clutched that cane. It was the shaft of a spear that had caught him in the side just below the ribs. My shoes were full. A pool of blood lay still, gleaming dark red under the wheel. His eyes shone with an amazing luster. He looked at me anxiously, gripping the spear like something precious, with an air of being afraid I would try to take it away from him. I had to make an effort to free my eyes from his gaze and attend to the steering.
The manager sends me to tell you. Good God. What happened to Insona?
We two whites stood over him, and his lustrous, inquiring glance enveloped us both. I declare it looked as though he would presently ask us a question. But he died without uttering a sound, moving a limb, twitching a muscle. He merely frowned. That frown gave to his death mask an inconceivably somber, brooding, menacing expression.
Can you steer?
Well...
Go here. Hold the wheel. Like that. Just keep her steady.
To tell you the truth, I was morbidly anxious to change my shoes and socks.
He's dead.
No doubt about it. Sona is dead. Now, you steer. If only he had left the bloody shutter alone. Fool. And no doubt either that Mr. Kurtz is dead as well by now. Well, there! Devil god of a river! We'll never hear that man now, Mr. Kurtz. It's all over. There! We're too late. Too bloody late.
He is dead.
Steer!
I couldn't have felt more lonely, more desolate. It wasn't Nasona's death. He had been at my side for months now. He steered, and I looked after him. We were partners. And now the bond was broken, but it wasn't that. The loss I felt then was if I had missed my destiny. I guess you, sitting there, half an ear to my story, at your desk, in your car, half wondering about what you will be doing next week at work, or whatever, must think me and my story absurd. Absurd be damned. What can you expect from a man who has just flung overboard a pair of new shoes? I was destroyed by the idea of having lost the privilege of listening to the gifted Mr. Kurtz, the bewildering, illuminating, the most exalted and most contemptible Mr. Kurtz. I had come to the heart of this impenetrable darkness for nothing. Of course I was wrong. The privilege was still waiting for me. Oh, I heard more than enough then, and I was right. It was his voice, not his deeds, that struck me. He was very little more than a voice. That's my memory of him. I heard him, this voice, other voices, the girl's voice. Have I mentioned her? Curtis intended. Well, she's out of it completely. The women should be out of it. We must help them to stay out of this world. All of them, all of this, is so little more than voices. It's jabbering voices. Silly, atrocious, sordid, savage, mean, without any kind of sense.
Mr. Marlow. Mr. Kurtz. Welcome to my station. My ivory. My river. My ivory. My river.
Of course I hadn't got there yet. But I already knew that everything belonged to him. It made me hold my breath in expectation of hearing this wilderness burst into some prodigious peal of laughter that would shake the stars. Everything belonged to him. So what? The thing was to know what he belonged to. How many powers of darkness claimed him for their own? He had taken a high seat among the devils of the land. I mean that literally. How can you understand? Sitting at home, good neighbours on either side, solid pavement under your feet, shops and a policeman, a tax bill due in the end of January. How can you imagine where this solitude can take you? This was a place of silence. Utter silence. There was no neighbour to warn you, no policeman to stop you, no public opinion. Honestly, all that makes a huge difference. And when they are gone, you have to fall back on your own innate strength. Some, the fools,
Shall I keep her full ahead, Marlow?
are too dull to even know that they are being assaulted by the powers of darkness, and some, maybe you are one, are so thunderingly exalted to be deaf and blind to anything but heavenly sights and sounds. But most of us are neither one nor the other, and must put up with this earth. Breathe dead hippo, so to speak, and not be contaminated. That's where you need your strength. And it's difficult enough. Let me tell you about him. Kurtz's mother was half English, his father half French. All Europe contributed to the making of Mr. Kurtz. By and by I learned that the International Society for the Suppression of Savage Customs, King Leopold of the Belgians no less is their president, he entrusted him with a report for their future guidance. 17 pages of close writing.
We whites, you see, must necessarily appear to the savages as supernatural beings. We approach them with the might of a deity. By the simple exercise of our will, we can exert a power for good that is practically unbounded.
He must have written this before, let's say, his nerves went wrong. Scrawled in the margins in his own handwriting was the line,
"Exterminate all the brutes."
Pull him. He won't feel a thing now. Get that damn spear out of his side. It'll make it a jolly sight easier getting him out.
God, he's heavy. Lend a hand. Heavier than any man on earth, I should imagine.
Mind what you do, Marlow. I don't want blood on this jacket.
Don't just stand there! Help us!
No. Lift. On 3. 1, 2, 3. And overboard!
God, he won't sink. It's like he's swimming.
He's caught on some weeds. No, they're putting him down. There. Gone.
We had to get rid of him, Marlow. Some of the niggers wanted to keep the body. God knows what for.
I can guess. Alive he was a second-rate helmsman, but dead I can see he's a first-class temptation. Better the fishes have him.
Doesn't bear thinking about. Get back to the wheel.
Well, is there any point in going on?
I don't know. I'm sure Kurtz is dead. I can't imagine what state the station is in. But we must have killed a fair few of them. Yes. We can't turn back now. We need to get there before dark.
There she is! Station ahoy! Half a mile up on the left!
Shut up, you fools!
We don't want to advertise our arrival. Give me the glasses. Let me see what's left.
Well?
The building is in ruins. Holes in the roof. But it doesn't look like it's been ransacked. Just disused. It's very ornate. There are poles in front with white carved balls. You take a look. It seems deserted.
God. No. I'm sure I can see shapes moving in the jungle around. The compound seems deserted. It looks like it's been that way for a long time. Hey! Hey, there's a white man! He's waving at us!
Come along! It's all right!
We've been attacked!
You're safe here! Come along, it's all right! I am glad!
He looked most singular, like a harlequin. His clothes were covered in patches of yellow, blue, red, patches on the front, on the back, on the elbows, on his knees. He wore colour binding round his jacket, scarlet piping on his trousers, and all of it was done most beautifully.
I'm glad you came.
I don't like it. There are natives up there in the bush.
They're simple people, they won't hurt you.
They just attacked us.
I know, it took me all my time to keep them off.
But you said we were safe.
Oh, they mean no harm. Not exactly. A good screech from your steam whistle will send them running.
Yeah, so we found out. Are we in time?
He's up there, waiting for you.
Guard the boat, Marlow. We'll investigate.
Your pilot house is a mess. Needs a clean-up. What happened?
Your friends attacked us. Do you talk with Mr. Kurtz?
You don't talk with him. You listen to him. But now he's, you English?
Yeah. Are you?
Russian. Son of an archpriest from Tambov. Ran away to sea, got in with some Dutch traders, ran Scheiten. He couldn't stick me. Told me to go to the devil. But I stuck with him. Persuaded him to give me a chance. He fitted me out. Guess he hoped he'd never hear from me again, and I ended up here. Sent him some ivory a year ago. I hope he got it. For the rest, I don't care. I had some wood stacked for you. That was my old house. Did you get it?
That was your home? Here.
Oh. My Towson. Thank you, thank you. It's the only book I had left. I thought I had lost it.
You left it on the table. You made notes in Russian.
I kept it to remind me of the sea.
I thought they were written in cipher.
No. It used to be my mother tongue. I don't know what is anymore. I had a devil of a job keeping those people off.
Well, were they trying to kill you too?
Oh, no.
Well, why did they attack us?
They know why you've come. They don't want him to go.
Don't they?
I tell you, that man has enlarged my mind. He's helped me go that little bit farther, and then a little farther still. Well, I've gone so far I don't know how I'll ever come back. We talked of everything. I forgot there was such a thing as sleep. Night after night, everything. He made me see things. Things. But then he'd go away for long periods. I nursed him through 2 illnesses, but most of the time he was away, wandering alone far into the depths of the jungle. I'd wait for him to return, but... oh, it was worth waiting for.
What was he doing in the jungle? Exploring?
Hunting for ivory, mostly, I think. He never said. Actually, he was raiding the country. The village is down by some lake. I don't know what he did.
But not alone, surely.
The natives here adored him. Worshipped him. What can you expect? He came to them with thunder and lightning, you know, and they had never seen anything like it, and very terrible. He could be very terrible. You cannot judge Mr. Kurtz as you would an ordinary man. No. No. He tried to shoot me once, but I don't judge him.
Shoot you? Why?
It was ivory I got from a village not far from here. He declared he wanted it, said it was from his lands, and he wouldn't hear reason. He declared he would shoot me unless I gave it to him and then got out of here. He rules here. He wanted to do it, and there was nothing on earth to prevent him killing whom he jolly well pleased.
So what happened?
I gave him the ivory and lay low for a month. I couldn't leave him. I had to be careful, of course, but then he got sick a few months ago. I looked after him, but I still had to be careful. Sometimes he would take to me, and sometimes it was better for me to be careful. He was so sick. When I had a chance, I begged him to try and leave while there was time. I offered to go back with him, and he would say yes, and then stayed. He went off on another ivory hunt, disappeared for weeks. He wanted to forget himself amongst the natives. Forget himself, you know?
Mr. Kurtz is mad.
He's ill. Very ill. Marlow, as a brother seaman, can I tell you something?
Depends what.
There are things I know. About Kurtz. That I can't conceal, and might affect his reputation.
Well, speak out.
You see, I think your fellow company men are out to get him.
And out to get you. I know our manager wants to see you hanged. I think you should get out of here.
But what about Kurtz?
He's all but a buried man. Save your own skin while you can. And for a moment it seemed to me that I also was buried here, in a vast grave of unspeakable secrets. And I was as much part of this as Kurtz's disciple.
It was Kurtz that arranged the attack. He thought it would scare you away, that you would give up, thinking him dead. He doesn't want to go. I could not stop him. You mustn't tell anyone.
Your secret's safe with me. I'd had enough. I snatched up my binoculars. The fact that the compound and the ruined station house was so quiet made me uneasy. Oh, my God!
What?
I thought that they were ornamental. On top of those poles there. Oh, my God. Human skulls. One of them is grinning at me. Oh, my God. Kurtz is mad. You're all mad.
They were rebels, those heads. He wouldn't let me take them down.
Rebels be damned. They were men. Has civilization gone to the dogs?
You don't know how difficult it is here for a man like Kurtz. What would you do in his place?
Don't you dare compare him to me! To that outrage. You're all polluted, degraded, and as bad as he is. Don't even try to defend him. Rebels.
I don't understand what happened. All I've been doing is trying to keep him alive. I've had no hand in any of this. There has not been a drop of medicine or decent food for months. You abandoned him, all of you. A man like him with such ideas, shame on you! I haven't slept for the last 10 nights.
You should get out of here before they lynch you.
They're coming.
A group of men appeared from around the house, bearing an improvised stretcher. Out of the emptiness of the forest, as if by enchantment, streams of human beings, naked human beings, with spears in their hands, with bows, with shields, with wild glances and savage movements, poured into the clearing. Then everyone stood still, as if waiting for a command.
He's sitting up. He's trying to talk. If he does not say the right thing to them, we were all done for.
I could not hear a sound, but through my glasses I saw the thin arm extended commandingly, the lower jaw moving, the eyes of that apparition shining darkly far into its bony head that nodded with grotesque jerks. Kurtz. Kurtz. It means short in German. Well, the name was as true as everything else in life and death. The man looked at least 7 feet long. His covering had fallen off, and as his body emerged from it, pitiful and appalling as from a winding sheet, I could see the cage of his ribs all astir, the bones of his arms waving. It was as though an animated image of death, carved out of ivory, was haranguing a motionless crowd of men made of dark and glittering bronze. I saw him open his mouth wide, as though he had wanted to swallow all the air, all the earth, all the men before him.
Coming to greet me on my return, coming to the railway stations, and they will be as much my subjects as you.
They're coming this way.
No. Now the natives are leaving. He's told them not to harm us. They're obeying him.
I told you what an amazing man he is.
They carried him down to the steamboat and placed him in a small cabin. We had brought up country his belated correspondence, and the most striking thing about the tiny cabin as I entered was the mess of torn envelopes and letters that littered his bed. His hand roaming feebly amongst these papers. He looked straight at me and rustled one of the letters.
Marlow, I am glad.
The voice. I had heard that bewitching voice. Someone had been writing to him about me. Those special recommendations were turning up again. Then, with dusk falling, a commotion broke out in the compound, and we all rushed onto the deck of the steamboat, guns at the ready. The woman walked along the shore with measured steps, draped in striped and fringed cloths, treading the earth proudly. She carried her head high. Her hair was done in the shape of a helmet. She had brass leggings to the knee, wire gauntlets to the elbow, innumerable necklaces of glass beads on her neck. She glittered and trembled with these bizarre charms, the charms of witchcraft. She stopped in front of our boat and looked at us without a stir, and, like the wilderness itself, with an air of brooding over an inscrutable purpose. Then she made a step forward.
I've been risking my life every day for the last fortnight to keep her out of the house. She hates me, and she poisons her.
She stopped, stared back fearlessly, threw her hands high in the air as if to touch the sky, and as she did, shadows fell over us, wrapping us all in darkness. She turned and walked slowly into the bush.
You must save me. Save the ivory, you mean to tell me. I've had to save you.
You're interrupting my plans. Now, sick. I'm not so sick as you'd have me.
Never mind. I'll carry my ideas out yet. I will return. I'll show you what can be done. You with your little peddling notions, you're interfering with me. I will return.
He is very low. We've done all we possibly could for him. But there's no disguising the fact that Mr. Kurtz has done more harm than good to the company. He did not see that the time was not ripe for this kind of vigorous action. I fear this district may be closed to us for some time. It's deplorable. Trade will suffer, and this is the best place in Africa for ivory. His method was unsound.
His method was unsound.
Undoubtedly.
I call it no method. It's barbarism.
I anticipated this. She was a complete want of judgment. It is my duty to point this out in the proper quarter and take steps.
Oh, I'm sure you can write a report that would damn him through and through, but I have to tell you that I think Kurtz is a remarkable man. The manager turned his back on me. My hour of favour was over. I found myself lumped with Kurtz as a partisan of methods for which the time was not ripe. I was unsound. This was compounded by the fact that as night fell and we turned in, Kurtz entrusted a whole sheaf of letters, which the manager had his eye on, to my safekeeping. I was awoken at midnight. The Russian trader's warning had alerted me to the danger we were in. The sight, in the starred darkness, was infernal. On the hill, a big fire burned. Firebrands glowed in the dark jungle. It was narcotic and fearsome. I glanced casually into the cabin. Kurtz was gone. I couldn't believe my eyes. Why didn't I raise the alarm? I think I was unnerved by sheer blank fright. I don't know why, but I was anxious to deal with this shadow by myself, alone. To this day, I don't know why I was so jealous of sharing with anyone the peculiar blackness of that experience. I scouted my way along the riverbank and quickly found a trail. My heart beating like the beating of the drum. I kept to the trail. Not far ahead, I could see movement. As I came upon him, he stood up. He rose, unsteady, long, pale, indistinct, like a vapor exhaled by the earth. It was as if he were waiting for me. I don't know why, but as I confronted him, I felt acute danger.
Go away, Marlow. Hide yourself.
I glanced back. We were within 30 yards of the nearest fire. We both saw a black figure stand up, silhouetted by the glow, stride on long black legs and wave long black arms. There were horns on its head, antelope horns. Some sorcerer, some witch man, no doubt. It looked fiend-like. Kurtz must not be allowed to reach them. I jumped him. If you try to shout, I will smash your head in with my stick.
Nobody touch Mr. Kurtz. What to do?
You can't play your games with me. Do you know what you're doing?
Perfectly.
You are coming with me. Kurtz, you stay here, you will be lost. Utterly lost. The words chimed with him. I had said the right thing.
I had immense plans. I was on the threshold of great things. It's just this stupid scoundrel they've sent.
Kurtz, your success is assured. The company see you as their best agent. In Europe, you are held in the highest esteem. But if you don't come with us, everything you have achieved will be lost. You will be lost. Utterly lost. To be honest, I didn't know what to do. What appeal could I make to a man in his exalted and incredible state of degradation? He had kicked himself loose of the earth. Confound the man. He had kicked the very earth to pieces. I talked with him all night long of everyday things. We used common everyday words, but what meaning did they have? It was like talking in a dream. We used the phrases spoken in nightmares. If anybody has ever struggled with a soul, I am that man. I wasn't arguing with a lunatic either. Believe me or not, his intelligence was perfectly clear, concentrated with terrifying intensity upon himself. But his soul was mad. But I said the right things. He came with me back to the steamboat. He knew he was lost, and needed telling that by me. I was possessed by Kurtz.
Look at them.
Kurtz's grand farewell.
Why are they so quiet? It's eerie.
There are hundreds of them. Thousands.
Yeah, and they're all staring at us.
Don't scare me.
Can't this thing go faster?
If we go any faster, the boiler will explode.
Savages!
Hold your tongue, man!
Look at that crazy nigger smeared in woad. I want to bag one.
Don't be a fool. If we attack them, they will attack us.
Do you think they will attack now?
Only if we fight them. But we're dead men if they do. Good God! They're saying goodbye to him. I too was scared. It was time to act.
Don't! You're driving them away!
Exactly! They're sitting targets for you fools with guns, and I'm not going to let you have your fun! Let them run, so that they don't run at us. The brown current ran swiftly out of the heart of darkness, bearing us down to the sea with twice the speed of our upward progress. And Kurtz's life was running swiftly too, ebbing out of his heart into the sea of inexorable time. I was ignored by the manager, looked on with disfavour by the pilgrims. I was, so to speak, numbered with the dead.
Taking a fancy to it. My station.
Kurtz, lying in the pilot house next to me, discoursed. The wastes of his weary brain were haunted by shadowy images now. Images of wealth and fame. My intended. My station, my career, my ideas, on and on, rambling, incoherent, but enfolded with the dying throe of his magnificent eloquence. And all the while, I piloted the steamboat through the monotonous bends and reaches of the river.
Close the shutter! I can't bear to look at the forest. Whatever you say. But I will wring its heart yet.
His was an impenetrable darkness. I looked at him as he peered down at a man who was lying at the bottom of a precipice where the sun never shines.
I am lying here in the dark, waiting for death. Nonsense.
It was night, and a candle stood not 1 foot from his face. I looked at him. I saw on that ivory face the expression of ruthless power, of craven terror, hopeless despair. Did he live his life again in every detail, desire, temptation, and surrender during that final moment of complete knowledge? Suddenly he cried out.
The horror! The horror! The horror!
I took no notice of him. Blew out the candle and went to join the pilgrims for supper.
Absolutely not the right way to go about things.
The manager's boy put his insolent black head in the doorway.
What is it, boy?
I said, Mr. Kurtz. He dead.
The voice was gone. They buried the body in a muddy hole, and then they nearly buried me. I still have that fever that took me over. However, as you can tell, I did not join Kurtz there and then. I did not. I remained to dream the nightmare out to the end. In my fevered state, I wrestled with death. My fever took me to within a hair's breadth of the grave, and I found with humiliation that I would have nothing to say. Kurtz had something to say.
The horror. The horror.
He had stared into the candle flame and saw only darkness. In that whisper was the appalling face of a glimpsed truth. It was an affirmation, a moral victory paid for by innumerable defeats, by abominable terrors, by abominable satisfactions. But it was a victory. That is why I remained loyal to Kurtz to the last.
The horror. The horror.
No, they did not bury me. I found myself in a sanatorium in the sepulchral city, resenting the people hurrying through the streets to filch little money from each other, to devour their infamous cookery, to gulp their unwholesome beer, to dream their insignificant and silly dreams.
Charles, darling, we need to nurse up your strength.
It wasn't my strength that needed nursing. It was my imagination needed soothing. And still they went on about Kurtz.
There are certain documents pertaining to the late Mr. Kurtz that the company would very much like from you. We understand he entrusted his papers to you.
He entrusted them to me, as you seem to know, and with me they stay.
I must protest. The company might be forced to take legal steps.
Legal steps be damned. You can have this, and this only.
Suppression of savage customs. This is not what the company had a right to expect.
Exterminate the brutes.
Expect nothing else.
There was the making of an immense success for him as a musician.
I beg your pardon?
He was a great musician.
What exactly did your cousin do?
He was a universal genius.
Oh, as I thought. Good day to you, sir.
Oh, undoubtedly he should have been in politics. On the popular side. Couldn't write to save his life, but goodness, how that man could talk. He electrified large meetings. You see, the man had faith. Don't you see? He had faith. He could get himself to believe anything. Anything. He would have been a splendid leader of a political party.
Which party?
Any party.
I gave him the famous report for publication, if he thought fit. Thus, when he departed with his plunder, I was left at last with just a slim packet of letters and a portrait of the girl, the intended. Now that I was getting better, I decided to return them myself. All that had been Kurtz had passed out of my hands. His soul, his body, his river station, his plans, his ivory, his career. Here remained only his memory and his intended, and I think I wanted to give that up too. I don't know, I can't tell. But I went.
Marlow, you know that the ivory is mine. The company never paid me for it. I collected it myself at great personal risk. What do you think I ought to do, Marlow? Resist? Should I ask her?
Miss Lapeters is expecting me. The dusk was falling. I had to wait in a lofty drawing-room. It was lifeless. The grand piano in the corner reminded me of a sarcophagus.
I want no more than justice, Marlow.
Mr. Marlow, I had heard you were coming.
As we shook hands, such an awful look of desolation came upon her face. Kurtz had died a year ago. For her, he had died only yesterday.
Do sit down.
Thank you.
Yes, do sit down.
This was a mistake. What was I doing here? My heart was pounding. I felt as if I had blundered into a place of cruel and absurd mysteries, not fit for a human to behold, and yet I was merely sitting in her drawing-room.
The horror. The horror.
I brought these for you. He entrusted them to me.
You knew him well?
Oh, yes. Intimacy grows quickly out there. I knew him as well as it is possible for one man to know another.
No one knew him as well as I. I knew him best.
You knew him best.
But you were his friend. You must have been. If he had given you this and sent you to me. I feel I can speak to you. I must speak. I want you, who have heard his last words.
The horror.
I want you to know that I have been worthy of him. Yes, I am proud to know that I understood him better than anyone on earth. He told me so himself.
The horror.
Oh. When I met him, I felt so happy. And so proud. Too happy for a while. And now I am so unhappy.
The sound of her low voice seemed to have the accompaniment of all the other sounds, full of mystery, desolation, sorrow, I had ever heard. The ripple of the river, the sighing of the trees swayed by the wind, the murmurs of the wild crowds, the whisper of a voice speaking from beyond the threshold of an eternal darkness.
And all of his promise of his greatness, of his generous mind, his noble heart. Nothing remains but a memory, you and I.
We shall always remember him.
It can't all be lost. That such a life should be sacrificed to leave nothing but sorrow. Something must remain. His words at least have not died.
His words will remain.
And his example, men looked up to him. His goodness shone in his every act. His example.
True. His example too.
But I cannot believe that I shall never see him again. That nobody will see him again. Never, never.
Marlow, I am glad.
His end was in every way worthy of his life.
And I was not with him.
He did everything that could be done.
He needed me. I would have treasured every sigh, every word.
Close the shutter, Marlow. I can't bear to look at this.
Every word.
I heard his very last words.
Repeat them. I want something to live with.
I was on the point of crying at her. Don't you hear them? The dusk was repeating them in a persistent whisper all around us, in a whisper that seemed to swell menacingly like the rising wind.
His last words. For me to live with.
The last word he pronounced was...
The horror. The horror.
Your name.
We have lost the first of the air, but evening's closing in. We should be making tracks.
I sat apart from them, silent like a Buddha. The offing was barred by a black bank of cloud, and the tranquil waterway leading to the uttermost ends of the earth flowed sombre under an overcast sky, and seemed to lead into the heart of an immense darkness.
Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness was adapted for radio by Jeremy Howe. Marlow was played by David Calder, Mr.Kurtz by Bill Wallace, the company doctor by John Webb, the steamboat captain by John Telfer, and the helmsman by Yemi Goodman Ajibade. The fireman was played by Willie Jonah, the accountant by Mark Buffrey, the man with the moustache by Jeremy Swift, the manager by John Mackay, the manager's uncle by John Morrison, the disciple by Chris Marshall, the solicitor by Stephen Perry, and the intended by Kate Byers. The music was composed by David Lord. Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness was produced and directed by Jeremy Howe and Ian Hunter for BBC Bristol.
Be upstanding in court.
You are familiar with the matter. If you please. Number 1 on your list, sir. The matter of the SS Patna. Indeed. Is the ship's master present? I fear not, sir. I see. Is any officer of the Patna present?
Yes, sir. I am.
Blackguard. You are?
The mate of the Patna, sir.
Disgrace!
Silence, please.
The mate of the SS Patna, you say?
Yes, sir.
Are there any other ship's officers with you?
No, sir.
And do you feel yourself competent to supply this court with a full account of the material facts in this case?
Yes, sir. I was there. I was involved.
You understand fully the gravity of the matter?
I will do my duty.
Very well. We will proceed.
Lord Jim by Joseph Conrad, dramatised in 6 episodes by Keith Darvill, with Simon Treves as Jim and David March as Marlow. Episode 1, Bombay about 1890.
Oh, yes, I remember Jim. I attended the Court of Inquiry that morning in Bombay. Everybody connected with the sea was there, of course, because the affair of the Patna had been notorious for days. From the moment the cable reached the harbour master's office, that mysterious, one might even say that horrifying cable from Aden, from the moment it arrived, the whole waterside had talked of nothing else.
I say, Captain Marlow, you've sailed all the 7 seas. Did you ever hear of anything to beat this Patna business, eh? My word, those Johnnies are going to catch it when they reach port. What?
Each new development in the affair became fuel for more gossip. At the harbour office, at your agents, at the shipbrokers, at the chandler's store.
Morning, Captain Marlow.
And a very good day to you, sir.
They're back, then?
Back? Who's back?
Those blighters from the Patna. 4 of them, skipper, mate and 2 engineers. They crept ashore at dawn from the steamer that picked them up, the Avondale. Now we'll get to the bottom of it all, eh?
But nowhere was the Patna affair discussed more avidly than at the club. The master of the Avondale, poor fella, was almost swamped with questions.
Damn it all, sir, didn't you question the scoundrels?
Absolutely. Did I have any reason to disbelieve their story?
Come now.
Oh, yes, gentlemen. It's all very well to talk with hindsight. But tell me, what would you have done in my place?
Well,
there you are, in the middle of the Arabian Sea. You had the good fortune to spot 4 castaways, 4 white men, adrift in an open boat. Would it really occur to you to suspect them of criminal behaviour? Seriously? Of course not. You'd do exactly as I did. Haul them on board and offer a small prayer for a blessed deliverance. Mind you, later on it did occur to me there was something fishy about it all.
Fishy? The whole business smells higher than a leper's armpit.
But nonetheless, I insist that at the time their skipper's story struck me as reasonable enough. Why should I have disbelieved it?
Ah, but then the bounder is some sort of foreigner. Not quite sure which variety. In point of fact, he hails from Stettin, Flensburg, or some such Baltic port, via New South Wales. Oh, my. Well, there you are, then, a German. Trust you to know, Marlow.
Friend of yours, Obin?
Good Lord, no. No, I had the misfortune to come across him once in Samarang. 9 months or a year ago. A very nasty piece of work. He had the body of a baby elephant and the morals of a hyena.
Well, he's under British jurisdiction now.
Has a day been named for the Court of Inquiry yet?
A week tomorrow, I heard.
The very next morning, as it happened, I was standing outside the harbour office at the very moment when the fat skipper emerged. He had had an uncomfortable interview with a master attendant. In fact, their argument could be heard clear across the esplanade to the bandstand. I could see his purple cheeks quivering. Suddenly he recognized me.
You Englishmen are all rogues. Always make a damn fuss. You English, you know damn better than other people. Do your worst. You want to take away my certificate? Take my damn certificate. Me, I don't need your verfluchte certificate. I spit on it. The Pacific is big, my friend. An American citizen I will become. I spit on the English. I spit on them.
Whereupon he set off in a resolute waddle across the esplanade towards a ramshackle gharry which was waiting in front of the hotel.
Schnell! Schnell! We go right now! Move, you hitter!
Yes.
Move!
Yes, sir.
You mean he's cut and run?
Absconded? Good grief, are you certain?
Departed. Disappeared. Vanished. I'll bet my last joey on it. He'll be in Burma by 8 bells the knots he was making. Pink ball. Well, then he must be brought back at once. He has 6,000 miles of tropical belt to lose himself in.
we'll not see him in this port again.
Bring us a beer, nice boy.
Yes, sir.
Cowardly bilgerat.
No more than one would expect of the Boche, I say. It may be small consolation, but at least his partners in crime are British. They won't be afraid to face the music.
Oh, well ridden, Major. Good shot. How do you rate his mount, Marlow? First-rate pony, what?
Fine beast.
Not fond of geldings. Never was.
Oh, is that so, Lady Wibbly?
I feel they lack something.
Yes, quite. Do I spy the good Dr. McCreath?
Lady Wibbly, gentlemen.
G&T?
Oh, why not?
Waiter?
Yes, sir.
For G&T.
Very good, sir.
Well, Doctor, what news on the Rialto?
I suspect the Patna hearing may have to be postponed after all.
But it's due to start tomorrow.
Well, that's as may be, but this morning we admitted both the Patna's engineers to the hospital.
Both of them?
Somehow it seems the second engineer sustained a broken arm on board. Went untreated, septicemia set in, and now he's lying in the white men's ward with a raging fever. He's in no condition to give evidence.
And what's the other fellow suffering from?
Well, not to put too fine a point on it, pink toads the size of mastiffs.
Jim Jams.
Exactly, Lady Wibbly. As hopeless a case of the DTs as I've seen. Hasn't set foot outside Mariano's grog shop since he came ashore.
Really?
4 bottles of rot gut brandy a day, I'm told. Stomach must be sheeted with boiler iron. Oh, look, that's the end of the first chocker.
And then there was one.
What did you say, Marlow?
There's just one man left who can resolve the Patna mystery. The ship's mate. Does anyone know the mate?
Surly puppy.
Beg your pardon, Lady Wibbly?
Mrs. Etney, matron of the sailors' home where he's staying, tells me he's an uncivil, surly puppy. Sits all day on the veranda, won't speak when he's spoken to, haunts the quayside at night like the wandering Jew. Bad lot.
Well, as I say, since there's only one witness available, I wouldn't be surprised if the inquiry is postponed.
But there was no postponement. The inquiry was held on the appointed date to satisfy the law. In my opinion, the authorities had only one purpose: to have done with the distasteful business as quickly as possible.
Take the book in your right hand and repeat after me. I swear by Almighty God.
I swear by Almighty God.
That the evidence I shall give this court.
That the evidence I shall give this court.
He was a fair young man, a little under 6 feet tall and powerfully built. He conveyed a kind of dogged self-assertion. And my first impression of him was, he is one of us. One of us. You know, the sea has been good to me, and in my time I've turned out many youngsters for the service of the Red Rag, all of them good stuff for the sea. I ought by now to know the right kind of looks. But Jim was an enigma. There was some infernal alloy in his metal.
Shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
As is customary in such matters, the presiding police magistrate was flanked by 2 nautical assessors. One of them I knew, Big Brierly, captain of a crack ship of the Blue Star Line. Brierly was a man who had never made a mistake in his life.
And it is your claim, is it, that the ship's boats were at all times efficiently maintained?
Well, I assumed that responsibility myself. It was a matter of pride with me. I always believed in being prepared for the worst. I don't know what the practice had been before, naturally, but I remember I spoke to the captain.
Forgive me, the question I asked required a simple answer, yes or no. Would you please keep strictly to the point? Now then, on the Patna there were 4 boats on the port side and 3 to starboard, correct?
Yes, sir.
And they were in good order.
I was coming to that,
yes
sir.
or no?
Yes.
Thank you.
They wanted facts. As if facts could explain anything. The why of Jim's actions was unimportant to them. They were not interested in the condition of Jim's soul. That first day was as instructive as tapping an iron box with a hammer to find out what's inside. Was it for my own sake that I wished to find a shadow of an excuse for that young fellow? As I said, he looked like one of us, but was he? Could I any longer rely on my own judgment?
Mr. Endicott, have you any questions for the witness?
Thank you, yes. You learned your seamanship where?
In England, sir. I spent 2 years on the training ship before joining the merchant service.
And how old are you now?
23.
Which means that you've been at sea, 7 years? 8?
8, sir, yes.
Would I be right in thinking, therefore, that despite your lack of years, you would regard yourself as an experienced ship's officer?
Yes, sir. You could say that.
An officer of sufficient experience that, faced with an emergency, an unlooked-for crisis at sea, it would be reasonable to expect that you would do your duty? Well?
It has always been my hope that whatever the circumstances, I would do my duty.
Duty?
Silence, please. I
must insist that this inquiry be permitted to proceed without gratuitous interruptions from the body of the court. Mr. Endicott.
Have you any comment to make on the role you played in the incident which is the subject of this inquiry?
No, sir.
Isn't it a simple fact that, faced with a crisis, you showed yourself to be a plain incompetent?
No, sir, I did what I could. At the time.
You did your best, did you?
No, sir. Not my best.
Isn't the plain fact of the matter that you lost your head? I have no more questions.
Mr. Endicott?
No.
May we then have the next witness? You may stand down.
Sir?
For a brief moment, as he left the witness box, Jim's gaze wandered around the packed courtroom, and just for a second or so, our eyes met. He still looked as genuine as a new sovereign, and a thought struck me with the chill of the graveyard. On the strength of his looks, I would have had no hesitation in trusting the deck of my ship to that youngster and gone to sleep with both eyes. And by Jove, it wouldn't have been safe.
Be upstanding in court.
It was well into the afternoon when the inquiry was adjourned to the next day, and the white men began to troop out at once. Jim, I noticed, was one of the first to leave. I made my way slowly out, chatting idly to Archie Rivell, the harbour shipping master.
All over by tomorrow, what?
I imagine so.
Not a great deal more to be said, is there? But one thing's certain, that young fellow's done for.
You know, it's curious what agents, devils perhaps, can affect the course of a man's life. Where, I wonder, would Jim have ended up had it not been for the dog? That mangy, yellow, flea-bitten native dog. Let me explain. The next case in court, a matter of assault and battery on a moneylender, if I remember correctly, involved a family of natives from a village up country. Whether they brought the tyke with them, I don't know, but a dog there was, weaving stealthily in and out of the crowd. Archie Rivell accidentally stumbled over him.
Blast that wretched cur!
As Archie hurried on, I saw Jim spin round. He stepped forward, barring my way.
Did you speak to me?
No.
I heard you.
Some mistake, I assure you. As far as I know, I haven't opened my lips in your hearing.
There was a fellow with you. He said it then. You don't deny that?
No, I don't deny that.
And who exactly is a cur, eh?
Don't be a fool, young man. Nobody dreamt of insulting you. When my friend spoke about a dog, he meant precisely that, no more or no less.
Forgive me, please. Altogether my mistake. It's just, all those staring people in the court, there I've got to stand it. I can do it too, but I won't put up with that kind of thing.
Now, look, it was a complete misunderstanding. Please forget that anything was said at all.
Yes, you're quite right, of course. I've embarrassed you, I apologize. Now, if you'll excuse me...
Listen, it occurs to me that we must do something to show there's no ill feeling. Do you have an engagement this evening?
No, but...
Oh, good. Dinner, Malabar House Hotel, 8:30.
No, really, I wouldn't
I
dream...
insist. I would like you to be my guest.
Thank you. I'll be there.
An outward-bound mail boat had come in that afternoon, and the big dining room of the Malabar House Hotel was more than half full of people with £100 round-the-world tickets in their pockets. The dark-faced servants tripped without noise over the vast and polished floor. Now and then a girl's laugh would be heard, as innocent and empty as her mind.
It seems an age since I heard somebody laugh.
More wine?
Please. Someday those people will all be home again. Their luggage plastered with labels, boring all and sundry with the sights they've seen, the adventures they've had.
I dare say.
I can never go home again.
Come now.
No, not now. Not ever.
I realize the inquiry has been pretty trying.
It is hell.
Your life hasn't ended, you know.
Hasn't it? Captain Marlow, you know as well as I that once this stupid inquiry is over, I shall lose my certificate. No,
Well,
please, do not humour me. The court will cancel my certificate. My career will be finished.
You'll find something?
Oh, yes. I could, for example, ship before the mast like a coolie, or I could sign on as a stoker on some tramp steamer.
A little extreme, young man.
It's either that or go to the dogs here in port.
Couldn't your people help? You're clearly
a gentleman? Oh, yes, Captain. I am a gentleman. But I cannot go to my father.
Why not?
I could never face him. By now the poor old chap must have seen it in all the home papers. He's a fine man, my dad. You'd like him.
A sailor?
Good heavens, no. No, he's a parson. In Essex. The living has been in the family for generations. No. I'm the first of my family to go to sea.
Would you like coffee now? A liqueur, perhaps?
Thank you. Could we, if you don't mind...
Yes?
Could we go out onto the gallery? It's a little stifling in here.
Of course. Outside, the night seemed to hang like a splendid drapery, while the riding lights of ships winked afar like setting stars. Along the gallery, candles burnt in glass globes on little octagon tables. We lit cigars and relaxed in cosy wicker chairs below clumps of stiff-leaved tropical plants.
It's deucedly good of you to let me talk like this. I really have made such a confounded ass of myself. God, what an irony. I always wanted so badly to shine, to distinguish myself in some way. Even as a cadet. Do you know, I used to be so very smart aloft. On the officer's training ship, my station was the foretop. My head for heights has always been good, and I used to crouch up there, feeling like an eagle, looking down on the tiny sailing boats, the ferries buzzing back and forth, the big ships steaming out of the estuary. I just knew I would do well. My head would be full of pictures, always with me at the center, holding fierce savages at bay with my revolver, saving people from sinking ships, adrift in a small boat, keeping up the morale of the crew.
Do I detect the influence of Valentine and Marriott there?
I'm afraid you do, Captain Marlow. If I'm quite honest, it was my holiday reading that sent me to sea. I suppose I dreamed of becoming a hero. I have a very ripe imagination.
But when all is said, you're very young to have earned a mate's certificate.
Yes, I was keen. I was a quick learner. I did well. Only one element was always missing, though. I never felt I'd been truly tested.
The sea always tests you, sooner or later. How did you come to ship on the Patna?
You could say it was partly chance, partly my own fault. I'd completed a couple of voyages on the Arcadia.
Ah, fine vessel.
Oh, you know it?
I know most of the ships on the Australia run.
On my last trip, we ran head-on into a storm which lasted a week. It was no adventure, I can tell you. More like the end of the world. In fact, it was a miracle we lived through it. On the first day, my leg was fractured by a falling spar. When finally we reached port, I was sent to the hospital. Obviously, my leg would take some time to heal, and the Arcadia sailed without me.
Dash bad luck.
Yes, you could say that. But I have nobody to blame but myself for what followed. As soon as I could walk on a stick, I went down into town to look for a passage home. I found nothing immediately, and I must admit that after a while I more or less gave up looking. You see, I don't know if you'll understand this. I think I must have fallen in love with the East. I like the sun, the skies, the breezes, the smells, the colors. It all seems so promising, so luxurious.
Believe me, young man, I've seen it many a time. I know how easy it is for Europeans to be seduced by eastern seas. Short passages, good deck chairs, large native crews, the prestige of being white. All of a sudden, the North Atlantic waters in midwinter seem like a prison sentence.
Exactly. One day I realized I'd forgotten about going home. There was a berth to be had, a chief mate on a local steamer, the Patna, and I took it.
You sod!
Good morning.
Hey? Oh, morning. Welcome aboard. You're a new mate, ain't you?
That's right. You're Onslow, second engineer.
For me sins, yeah. I'm pleased to meet you. Well, what do you think of the old tub, then?
Not new.
Yeah, bleeding rusty right through, isn't she? Bloody pigtail Pete's.
What do you mean?
Well, it's a Chinese owners, isn't it? Don't kill her tinkers, do they? Slap on some whitewash and kick her out to sea. So she splits her seams and goes down to Davy Jones' locker, so what?
The list, Folly. It's for lads' money, please.
That bad?
Just don't sneeze too hard, that's all. Where are we bound this time?
Red Sea, Jeddah.
Cargo?
Pilgrims.
Hey?
Muslim pilgrims bound for Mecca.
Coons?
About 800 of them.
800 bleeding Jonahs, more like.
The second engineer was right. The Patna had been given a new coat of paint, and on the sailing date the 800 pilgrims poured on board like water filling a cistern. Men, women, children, they flowed into every nook and cranny of the ship.
Ready to leave harbour, Captain?
Fee. Sie sind alles verdammte Fee.
Sir?
Mr. Mate, what do you see on deck?
The passengers.
No, Mr. Mate. Cattle. They are all cattle, and they are all damned.
Shall I give the order to cast off, sir?
Yeah. Why not?
Aye, aye, sir. Cast off forward!
Cast off forward!
Stand by, engines.
Cast off up!
Cast off up! Cast off up!
You said in court that the sea was as calm as a mill pond throughout the voyage.
It almost seemed as if the sea were dead, like a sheet of ice. The only ripples came from our wake. For 5 days we made a dead-straight course for Perim Island. The sun rose behind us, blazed over us all day, and set in front of us.
And on the 5th night, it happened.
That's right. It was coming up to midnight. My watch was nearly over. The passengers were all asleep. It's strange, but that night in particular, I felt so secure on the bridge. I was at peace under the stars. It was like being in a dream. I was back in the foretop again. There was nothing. There was absolutely nothing I couldn't face.
Everything in order, Mr. Mate?
Everything in order, sir.
God help us. What ain't the word for it down below? It's all right with you lot up here. You want to try that, hello? This scrappy rattle's fit to drive you to death. Shut your mouth. Oh, yeah. I must be mad staying on this rotten tub. You're drunk. Oh, yeah. You think so, do you? Got a couple of fingers of brandy that Chief would give me at 10 o'clock. That's all I'm likely to get too on what you pay me. Where's the Chief now? Sleeping like a baby with his bottle under his pillow. A 5-ton crane wouldn't get him out of his bunk. Fine. Where's the donkey man?
Down below.
Is he drunk too? All 3 of you drunk?
Who's drunk? Come on. Who's drunk? I never been the worse for drinking my whole life. I tell you, I thought I wasn't drunk, I'd jump overboard.
Get off my bridge.
Why should I? I need some air on a night like this. And I'm not going on deck with that vermin or bleeding nightly.
I said, get off my bridge.
Who are you shouting at? What do you want for a measly $150 a month anyway?
I'll kill you, you pig.
Oh, yeah. You just try it.
Steady on, Onslow.
I ain't afraid of no crowd-head, mate. Oh, no, not me. Bleeding fearless, that...
Jesus.
won't stand. What was that? What in hell's name was that?
In episode 1 of Lord Jim by Joseph Conrad, the cast was Jim, Simon Treves, Marlow, David March, Patna Skipper, Bernard Brown, Onslow, John Hollis, Avondale Captain, David Sinclair, Brierley, Clifford Norgate, Rivell, Brian Smith, Dr. McCreath, Robin Summers, Chandler, Christopher Douglas, and Lady Wibberley, Nerissa Knights. Other parts were played by members of the cast. Lord Jim is dramatised in 6 episodes by Keith Darvill. The director was Martin Jenkins.
They were putting out the lights now in the dining hall of the Malabar House Hotel as we sat, Jim and I, at our table in the long gallery. A single candle glimmered in its bowl. What demon was it that had come from the sea's deep to smash the hopes and destroy forever the peace of the enigmatic young man opposite me? The court of inquiry had demanded simple facts, but I needed to know more. What really happened that dreadful night on board the SS Patna? Beyond the long gallery of that hotel in Bombay, the harbour office stood distinct below the vivid stars, and it seemed to me as though the sombre building itself had glided nearer to see and to hear.
Lord Jim by Joseph Conrad, dramatised in 6 episodes by Keith Darvill, with Simon Treves as Jim and David March as Marlow. Episode 2.
What do you think it was you'd collided with? A waterlogged wreck?
I honestly don't know, Captain Marlow. But whatever it was, the Patna went over it as easy as a snake crawling over a stick. The hull quivered and seemed to rise a few inches throughout its length. Then the sound stopped, and we were ploughing on again just as before.
Then what happened?
Well, as I said in court, the captain ordered me forward to see if there was any damage. He told me not to make any noise for fear of causing a panic. I thought this was reasonable. I took a lamp, opened the forepeak hatch, and lowered the lamp on a lanyard. The forepeak was half full of water already.
Indicating a large hole below the waterline.
That's right.
And there was just the one bulkhead keeping the water out of the hold.
Exactly.
Were you afraid?
No. I felt no sense of danger then. I hurried back to tell the captain. I found Onslow, the second engineer, slumped at the foot of the bridge ladder. He thought his left arm was broken. The skipper stood at the top.
We're port. The forepeak's shipping water fast. My God! That rotten bulkhead will give way in a minute. The damn thing will go down under us like a lump of lead.
Shut your mouth.
Them plates are like brown paper. They won't take the pressure.
Listen to me. You get below and stop the engines. Move.
Right.
Mr. Mate, examine the bulkhead and report back.
Aye, aye, sir.
I took a lamp down into the hold and began tapping the bulkhead.
Yes?
All of a sudden, a flake of rust as big as the palm of my hand fell off the plate. I put my hand against the bulkhead. I felt it bulge. It definitely bulged. I thought, my God, there's no time.
I can easily picture him to myself in the cavernous gloom. The light of the lamp, the breathing of 100 sleepers in his ears. The deep rumble of the engines blowing off steam made the whole night vibrate like a bass string. The ship trembled to it. Jim stood immobile. The bulging, rust-eaten plates that kept back the ocean must give way. He looked at the sleeping bodies.
Somebody was speaking aloud inside my head. No time. 800 people and 7 boats. I saw there was nothing I could do. They were dead. All of them. Suddenly the steam ceased. I started to run.
Yes?
Up on deck there was an awful stillness. I decided to cut the lanyards of the boats so that they would float free when the ship went down. At least a few could be saved.
Who's there?
It's me.
Thank God. I thought you was one of them darkies. Give us a hand.
What are you doing?
Getting out.
The Patna had a long bridge, and all the boats were up there. 4 to port, 3 to starboard. The 4 white men, the skipper, the 2 engineers, and George, the donkey man, were on the port side, frantically trying to get one of the boats off the chocks.
It's you, eh? Lend a hand, quick! The front choke's jammed! Bastard! Come on! Come on! Get your shoulders behind and heave, damn you! It won't budge, I tell you! Get under and try to lift!
Oh, it was a pretty sight. The 4 of them, tugging, pushing, smashing, ready to kill, ready to weep. I walked to the starboard side of the bridge. I was not one of them. I loathed them. I hated them.
Yes.
But what could I do? If I woke the sleeping pilgrims, there would be panic. Nor was there any way of shoring up the bulkhead in 5 minutes or in 50. It would happen, that's all. There was nothing I could do. Nothing to do but to go down with the ship. But still she floated.
You're the strongest, skipper. You get under. God damn, I am too sick. Hammer, get a hammer. Oh, God almighty. Look there. Mr. Mate, for God's sake, come and help.
Leave me alone.
You bloody coward.
You call me a coward?
Do you want to die, man? Look behind you, won't you? Look!
At last I turned. A silent black squall had already eaten up 1/3 of the sky. You know how they come up suddenly at this time of year? No warning until they hit, wind and rain together. Until that moment, I'd been paralyzed by the scenes of horror that filled my imagination. Now I went to work with my knife, slashing the lanyards of the starboard lifeboats. Overhead, the sky darkened as the squall came closer. Closer.
It's clear! The boat's clear! Good! All together now! Heave her out! God, it's heavy!
The first swell hit the ship. I felt her move under my feet. Soon she would begin to break up. Then suddenly I saw George, the donkey man, clutch at the air and collapse onto the deck. He didn't fall. Rather, he slipped slowly into a sitting position.
Skipper! Look at George! Leave him! Keep pushing! Put your backs into it! Heave! It's moving! It's going! Let go! Let go! Let her loose! Over the side, quick!
The ship began to buzz fore and aft as the pilgrims began to wake. I realized I was back on the port side of the bridge, and I suddenly tripped. I'd stumbled over George, the donkey man's legs. He went over sideways, very gently, stone dead. I remembered hearing him say once that he had a weak heart. I could hear the others shouting, "George, jump, jump, George." They were calling to a dead man. 800 living people, and they were yelling after the one dead man to come down and be saved. By now it had come over pitch dark. You could see neither sea nor sky. I heard the boat alongside bumping against the Patna's hull. The ship began a slow plunge. The rain swept over her. The ship was going down, down, head first under me. She was sinking, and I jumped. I jumped, and it was as if I'd jumped into an everlasting, deep hole.
The contented revellers were making their way to bed. The waiters were putting out the lights in the hotel dining room, but in the long gallery, our solitary candle continued to glimmer in its glass globe. Jim sat opposite me, motionless.
Yes, I jumped all right. I certainly jumped.
Looks like it.
But don't you see, there was nothing I could do. There was no time.
I was hearing the things he could not say to the court. He was a man stunned by the discovery he had made about himself. And he needed an ally, a helper, an accomplice.
There was not the thickness of a sheet of paper between the right and the wrong of it. Well, was there? What would you have done in my position?
I can't say. Nobody can.
Exactly. I believed, as any other man would, that we were doomed. That at any moment the rusty bulkhead would split open and the ship go to the bottom. Now, just for argument's sake, let us suppose I'd stuck to the ship, stayed on board with those poor, benighted pilgrims. In 30 seconds, as it seemed, a minute at most, I would have been overboard, thrashing about in the squally darkness with 800 other desperate, drowning souls. Don't you think I would have tried to save myself? Do you think I wouldn't have laid hold of an oar, a lifebuoy, a grating, anything to stay alive?
So instead you cleared out at once?
Jumped. Jumped! I honestly knew nothing about it till I looked up from the lifeboat. I saw the ship rising above us, looming like a cliff. There was no going back.
Nothing could be more true. He had stumbled from a height he could never scale again. He crouched down in the bows, and as the boat rushed forward, driven by the squall, he stole a furtive glance back. He saw just one yellow gleam of the Patna's masthead light high up and blurred, like a last star ready to dissolve.
Then the sea began to hiss, like 20,000 kettles. The boat seemed to fly. For 2 or 3 minutes it seemed as if the end of the world had come. Nobody in the boat made a sound, and in the pitchy black it was impossible to see the skipper or the 2 engineers. We were all blinded and half drowned by rain. Then at last the squall swept ahead. There was nothing to be heard but the slight wash about the boat's sides. Somebody's teeth were chattering violently.
Oi! What kept you from jumping, you lunatic? Oi! George! George! Hold on. You're not George. It's that blasted mate. Where's George? What have you done with him?
He's back on the bridge. He's dead.
What do you mean, dead?
What I say, dead? Heart attack, I imagine.
I bet you bloody killed him. Didn't you? You stuck-up son of a Stepney whore.
Oh, shut up, you cretin.
You bloody murderer.
Shut up or I'll kill you.
Murderer! Murderer!
Come on, then.
Silence! Silence! Where is she?
What?
The ship! Where is she?
She's gone. Disappeared. Shot down like a flat iron.
I saw the light go. It went out just like a match you throw away.
At that moment you might have heard a pin drop in that boat. We were like men walled up alive in a roomy grave.
Sounds as if you were likely to have a lively enough time of it, though.
Oh, yes. They hated me being there. I was convinced they'd try to tip me overboard. Anything could have happened in that boat, and the world would have been no wiser.
Yes, I know what you mean. There's a kind of madness descends on a small boat adrift in the open sea. Many years ago, when I was a youngster, younger than you, the ship I was serving on went down in the South Atlantic. Mostly I remember the cold.
I know. I've never been so cold in my life. And I didn't dare sleep. I picked up the tiller and hung on to it like grim death, just in case my shipmates tried anything. I was still holding that tiller when the sun finally came up. I must have been holding it for 6 hours or more. I was in the bows, they were in the stern. They sat shoulder to shoulder like 3 dirty owls. They just stared at me. They looked as though they'd been knocking about drunk in gutters for weeks.
Here. Where you drop that blooming piece of wood, eh? Here, I'm talking to you. Your tongue dropped out, has it? Well, give us a civil answer, can't you? Don't waste your breath on him. Ignore him. Not bloody likely. Look, use your head. It's odds on we're going to be picked up before the day's over. It's a busy shipping lane, isn't it? All the canal traffic comes this way. And when they pick us up, they're bound to start asking questions. Like, where's the bloody partner? And where's the 800 coons what was on her? And how comes there's only 4 of us in the boat, you know what I mean? So we better get our story straight. And that means all of us, him included.
Mr. Mate, drop that tiller. I'm ordering you.
Yeah. Come on, mate. Be sensible. You're one of us now. We're all in this together, aren't we? Shipmates, like chums, all in the same boat. Yeah, not half. In more ways than one, what?
I don't think he's right in the head.
Yeah, he's all right. Ain't you, Mr. Mate?
Mr. Mate, talk to us.
Yeah.
That is an order.
Ah, don't be like that. We ain't never done you any harm, have we?
I shall say one thing.
That's better, lad.
And it's the only thing I intend saying to you. I want you to be quite clear about it. I am not your shipmate. God forbid I should ever be one of you. And as regards making up a story to fool the authorities, you can say whatever you like. It is nothing to do with me. Do you understand? I don't care. Say what you like.
Oh, so you'll go along with anything we say. Right, Cock?
Let him be. He'll be all right.
Yeah, he's not stupid. What can he do? If he opens his mouth, he will be in it with all of us.
How long was it before you were picked up?
Just before sunset. It was only a matter of time. The Avondale steamed straight at us. The others spent most of the day concocting some kind of story. I kept apart.
But on board the Avondale, why didn't you speak up then? You said nothing.
What could I say? I had jumped, hadn't I? That's what I had to live down. The story didn't matter. It was like cheating the dead.
But there were no dead, were there? The bulkhead held out, after all.
Yes, it held. It's like a joke hatched in hell, isn't it? Yet I swear I felt it bulge under my hand.
It's extraordinary what strains old iron will stand sometimes.
My God, what a chance missed.
If you were stuck with the partner, you mean?
The Frenchman, the lieutenant from the gunboat that found the Patna, he stayed on board for 30 hours while they towed her to Aden. He kept his honour. He shamed me when he gave evidence today. And I have to face it all again tomorrow. I may have jumped, but I won't run away. What's the time now?
2:30, a little after.
Forgive me, I had no idea it was so late. I dare say you've had enough of my talk. Now, where's my hat? Ah.
What will you do after?
go to the dogs as likely as not. You've been awfully decent, you know. Thank you again. Good night, Captain Marlow.
The candle spluttered out. The thing was over at last. Our communion in the night had been like the last vigil with a condemned man. As the darkness swallowed him up, I heard the crunch of gravel under his boots. He was running, with nowhere to go. And he was not yet 24.
Marlow! Marlow, over here!
Ah, Brierley. Good day to you.
Are you on your way to the inquiry?
That's right.
Well, jump in. We can travel together.
Oh, thank you, Brierley.
Good of you. Did I see you dining with that young man from the Patna last night?
You did.
Well, each to his own, I suppose. This is a bad business, Marlow. I feel like a fool sitting there on the bench.
Oh, come now. You're simply doing your duty.
But what's the use of it all? Nothing can save that young chap. He's done for. He must know it. So why eat all that dirt?
Would you rather he followed his skipper's example, ran away?
Since you ask me, yes, I would.
Are you serious?
I wish he'd creep 20 feet underground and stay there. I would.
Would you not think there's a kind of courage in facing it out as he does?
Courage be hanged. The whole affair's a disgrace. Damn it, Marlow, we're both seamen. You know as well as I that we must preserve professional decency. What I mean is we are trusted. In the merchant service, we are held together by one thing only, a code of decent behaviour. Duty, if you like. A code of conduct we all subscribe to without question. Personally, I don't care a scrap for all the pilgrims that ever came out of Asia. If the Patna had been carrying a cargo of old rags, it wouldn't have made any difference. A decent man does not behave as that young man did. Such behaviour destroys people's confidence in the service. His shame reflects on you, on me, on all of us. Well, damn it, Marlow, if he were a gentleman, he'd disappear without trace and spare us all this infernal publicity.
Well, even if he were prepared to, I doubt if he has a penny in his pocket to bless himself with. It takes money to run away, you know.
Very well, that's easily solved. I'll give you 200 rupees right now. Talk to him, it's not too late. Make him see sense. I can't do it myself, you understand.
Forgive me, Brierley. I consider that an outrageous suggestion. That young man has decided to stand up and tell the truth, and I, for one, applaud him.
We are led to one firm conclusion, that the master and mate of the SS Patna evinced an utter disregard of their plain duty, in that they abandoned, in the moment of danger, the lives and property confided to their charge.
The benches were empty that day. There were no rows of Europeans in white drill suits, their pith helmets on their knees. Curiosity had been satisfied, and there was no public desire to witness an unspectacular execution. A mere stroke of the pen would suffice to cut Jim adrift.
And therefore your certificate is hereby cancelled with effect from today's date. Next case.
And that, in accordance with the immutable law of the sea, was that. He had lost his certificate. From that day on, Jim was officially an outcast, from the community of the sea, from the community of men of honour. But for me, and to this day do I really know why, the matter could not be allowed to rest there. Jim, I was convinced, was one of us.
Would you like a drink? I can have one sent up.
No, thank you. From now on I must learn to do without the comforts of first-class hotels. No better than a vagabond now.
That sounds deucedly like self-pity to me.
You're right. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
You won't mind if I just finish off some urgent correspondence, will you?
Of course not. May I have a cigarette?
In the box over by the window there.
Thank you. That's over. Doesn't do to pipe the eye at my age. The monsoon breaks early this year. I carried it off pretty well, I think. Something's paid off. Thank you, though. Your room. Jolly convenient for a chap badly hipped. Bit of shelter. Someday one's bound to come upon some sort of chance to get it all back again.
Perhaps.
Must. One is responsible.
That's true.
Perhaps I'd better go.
It's raining.
Perfect deluge. It's dark out there, too.
Very dark.
Thank you for everything, Captain Marlow. I ought to go now. Goodbye.
Wait. I want you to...
Well, I can't dine with you again tonight.
I'm not asking you to. Don't be so absurd. Come here. Sit down. Sit down. That's better. Jim, I'm going to trust you. This letter is to a friend of mine in Goa. He owns a rice mill. I've never asked him for a favor before. I make myself responsible for you. I want you to take it to him. His name is Denver.
Jove, you are a brick.
I want to help.
You have helped me. Gosh, I can't sit still. You've given me back my confidence.
I've seen men who have gone under. You'll find them in every seaport from Cork to Yokohama. It's an ugly life.
Lord, what an ass I've been. You'll see, though. I'll show you. I've always thought that if a fellow could begin with a clean slate, and now you've... Yes, a clean slate. What can I say?
Say nothing. For God's sake, take the letter.
Yes. Of course. It stopped raining.
A clean slate, did he say?
In Episode 2 of Lord Jim by Joseph Conrad, the cast was Jim, Simon Treves; Marlow, David March; Patna Skipper, Bernard Brown; Onslow, John Hollis; Brierley, Clifford Norgate; Chief Engineer, Brian Smith; and Donkey Man, Christopher Douglas. Lord Jim is dramatised in 6 episodes by Keith Darvill. The director was Graham Gald.